I'm going to attempt to narrate a trade. I just entered a trade right now. It's about 4 in the morning here in Turkey, December the 20th. 5 days before Christmas. I'm very excited for that. So the trade that I took earlier was amazing. Let me show you guys it here. The trade I took earlier set me up for the perfect short, where we counted 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 with a short to the bottom side. Okay, so you get a channel in here where waves 2 and 4 end up hitting, and then waves 1, 3, and 5 make the perfect channel in the fifth wave. So wave 1, 3, and 5, notice how they're all moving around the same angle. They're moving at the same angle, same angle, same angle, basically the same magnitude. Maybe not as much in terms of price movement, but the same angle as in the way it goes upwards, right? So I shorted this guy here, it was up 2400. I shorted right at the break, if you noticed. So as soon as you get the fifth break wave to the top, I don't usually short there anymore. I like to enter a short position as we're getting to the bottom and breaking to the downside, okay? So that's where I took my profit, right there. And then we got to bounce up because of the wave 4 territory. So I took in a really nice profit there of $3,600. And the reason why I'm going over that trade is because it's relevant to this next trade as well. It's the same coin. So we got to count it all from the beginning for it to make sense. This is my position right here. I literally just entered on this break down here, and I'll talk about why. I'm in it for $175,000 right now, and the reason why I entered is because I count 5. I count 5 in here somewhere. Okay, I count 5 just like that, right? And the cool thing about here is if you take your trend-based fib extension. A trend-based fib extension gives you an idea of how much it could possibly move. So let's just say you get a wave like that, okay, and then you get a retracement down. The third wave is often the longest and never the shortest. So what we assume is that if you take your trend-based fib extensions right here, fib extension, click on that, click on where it begins, and then click on the top of the wave for your second click. And then the third click is somewhere along this line where the wave ends. You don't really know where it ends until it starts moving upwards, right? Usually as it breaks, that's where you know, okay? And then what you say is wave 3 is often the longest and never the shortest. So you assume that it's going to move at least to a 1-to-1 extension. What a 1-to-1 extension means is this, okay? If this was equal to 1, right, then that means that if the bottom to the top moved 1-to-1, it also means that it made the exact same measured move. Okay, that's usually how it is. So but then we would assume that it would go anywhere between 1 to 1.618 for a normal movement, in my opinion. Okay, so what's really cool about all this is that this wave in particular right here made a 1-to-1 extension, plus of course over 1-to-1, but this one made almost a 1.618, which generally fits the criteria of a full impulse wave going to the upside. I like that a lot. This one was very, very shallow, the retracement. This guy here could be identified as a wave perhaps like this, okay? This is a C truncated, where I believe it makes something like that, A, B, whatever in there, C. And then we get the 5 waves that have officially formed in here. Now we got the 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, just like that. That one right there makes a beautiful channel. And the channel goes something like this, where we can see it very, very, very clearly as well. Something like that, right? Maybe on a bit different time frame you can draw a little bit better. So something like that, okay? So it makes a very nice channel that breaks to the downside. See that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Comes down, goes up a little bit for retracement, and I've shorted it on the wave down on the break right there. That's how I was able to have a really nice entry. So now what I'm saying is, what I'm getting to is I entered because I assumed, so this is where my take profit was. Watch this, okay? I'll show you where I took my profit, which coincides with my next trade here. So I just took it from the bottom of this wave where it began, somewhere to around right there, okay? I just did that, and it was almost arbitrary in my opinion, but it worked out because it was also coinciding with this particular region right here. It was the 55 EMA on the 15-minute chart combined with that resistance for wave 4, 55 EMA, and also that yellow trend line support that I drew right here right now. Okay, so that counted very well. And then I decided to go to a higher or lower time frame here, and I just looked at a rejection here first. Okay, I noticed that there was a rejection here like that, and then if you look very carefully, what do you see? I'll let you guys take a minute to decide on this. What do you see in this chart right now that's very significant that allowed me to enter this trade? Why do you think I entered this trade here at 32.7 roughly? Can anybody guess? Take time. Okay, if you guess that it could possibly make an descending triangle, you're right. Okay, so you see these pivots here that end up getting rejected. You can tell it gets rejected because as you draw this white trend line right here, this white trend line is very powerful. Okay, and then the green one in there. So what you're seeing is a possible descending type of triangle that's in formation. Here's the descending triangle as I draw it for you there, okay? Because you see 2 points at the top there and 2 points at the bottom. You're seeing it work to the bottom side. I'm now up $1,000 in this trade here since we literally just opened it up. So we're seeing a possible descending triangle coming down, okay? So because if I assume that literally all 5 waves are now in, I'm gonna take this out now because I don't need to keep it, like my screen cluttered. It's not my style, okay? Now if I assume all 5 waves are literally in, that means that I would be taking the entire structure's Fibonacci range and playing that, okay? So if I were to do this something like here, watch. Something like from here, you take your, after you identify 5 wave structures, what you would like to do is go to the bottom here. So click on the bottom. Whenever you draw Fibonacci retracement, always draw it from the bottom left, or sorry, the left side to the right side. Okay, let me give you an example. If the price went up and it's about to drop now and you're taking Fib retracement, always draw it from left to right. Okay, if it's dropped and it's about to retrace upwards, still same rule. Draw it from left to right. Sometimes the left is on the bottom, sometimes the left is on the top. Doesn't matter. Draw it from left to right. That's how you remember drawing Fibonacci. Okay? It's very intuitive. If it rallies upwards, draw it from the left. If it rallies downwards, draw it from the left anyways, to the right. Just like reading a book. So now I'm seeing this descending triangle and I really wanted to drop down. So what I'm seeing here and what really encouraged me was I entered on this around there, right? 30.7. What really encouraged me to enter was a possible descending type of triangle that I saw like that, okay? I saw this particular formation like that. It's kind of something like that. A little bit more prominent on a higher time frame. So I saw like some supports right around there, okay? And I'm seeing that it's trying to break to the downside, combined with the actual here, like that. So I'm seeing it push to the bottom side now. I'm probably going to take my profit around 32 right before the break. And 32 is going to give me a really substantial reward here. 32, I'm going to take in about, I don't know, 32, 7 times 5, $3,500 at 32.32. So that's very, very nice right now. $3,700. There's definitely momentum to the downside right now. Do you see how we're dropping to the downside now? Okay, we're dropping. These are support. You gotta really, really zoom in to see. Okay, do you see this range right here? You gotta trade off of price action sometimes. What you're seeing is support. Oops, I have to stay in drawing mode 1 second. Support, support, little support, falls down below, and now it gets a rejection. Now that it got a rejection, we're definitely in profit today. A lot. So still moving to the downside now. This is a really good trade to show you guys. So we planned a lot of things, and this is a very complicated trade to take. I called it in my group here as well. Very much so called in the group. My Discord group is currently closed right now, so I apologize for that. Nobody can sign up for yearly or for monthly. I don't need to shill anything at all. If you guys are interested in my course, the course itself of mine has 3,700 reviews with 4.8 out of 5 stars. It's probably one of the best courses in crypto history. If you're interested, DM me. Watch out for scammers replying to you. So we see that it's now dropping the downside, up $1,700. Today I'm up $4,700 or something like that already. So this is a beautiful chart here. I would recommend making sure that you're consistently drawing your trend line supports on multiple charts so they coincide, especially with Binance and also TradingView. So it's probably gonna smash below here, to be honest, and finally come out. What's really cool is this, okay? This is my next prediction. My next prediction is that we're gonna bounce at that white line at the bottom within the channel, okay? We're gonna probably end up breaking right slightly below it, right here. Gonna break right, gonna get around right there. I gotta make it yellow. I don't see yellow. There we go. My colors are really off on my computer. So I'm gonna draw it right here. It's gonna kind of come below there. And I think that it's gonna break below that trend line and then kind of bounce right up there. And then come down and then smash down finally. This tends to happen quite often when I see this type of activity in formation. I like the way that things are looking so far right now. Very, very bearish across the board here. See, we're seeing that if you draw it wick to wick like that, you know, you got to find the best way to draw it on the best time frame. If you draw on the 5-minute chart, it looks really good right here, but of course you can draw it probably a little bit better where you're wanting to get some bodies as well to incorporate it. So the 15-minute chart is a really adequate time frame as well to be drawing this on here. So I'm a big fan of drawing it on these particular charts or these time frames. People always ask me what are my favorite time frames, and the answer is every single time frame. I trade on every single time frame, and we have to think of time frames as things that as time frames. I see them as charts that tell different stories. So depending on what time frame we're looking at, like you want to get information in between. Let's say you compare just a 1 hour time frame to a daily chart, right? If you look only at 1 hour in daily, you're not going to be able to see a lot of the information in between. You're just going to see 24 candles for a day for the 1 hour or a single daily candle. So you may not have enough data to see what's going on in between. That's like reading the beginning of a book and then reading the end of a book, right? You don't know what happened at all. So you have to read the pages in between, and that's going to give you a way of finding the best information, in my personal opinion. So this is an awesome trade that I'm about to take with you guys, and I'm going to narrate all and my thoughts. So as for the RR there, okay, the RR, always make sure that you have a predefined stop loss before entering a trade. If you have a predefined stop loss before entering a trade, psychologically, you already know and say to yourself subconsciously that you're willing to take a loss if the trade goes south. Okay, that's really important that you have a stop loss mentally or hard stop loss before you enter a trade, because subconsciously you're already willing to take a loss if your trade goes wrong. Another advice that I can strongly give people when it comes to stop loss is don't put your stop loss in a place where it's just going to minimize the amount that you lose. Let me repeat that again. Do not put your stop loss at a place just so you can minimize the amount that you lose. What I would suggest, and the way that I trade, is I put my stop loss at a place where I know that the trade has gone wrong and I am wrong. Does that make sense? That's a big difference. You have to repeat that again to yourself. Don't place a stop loss at a place just to minimize your loss. it's better to put a stop loss at a place where you know for a fact that your trade has gone wrong and your trade is off and you're wrong. So if you were to pick a place here where the trade is going to be gone wrong, if I've entered a short, where would you put a stop loss? Think about it. Where would a stop loss be here? Where would it be reasonable to have a stop loss? Okay. Well, a reasonable stop loss would probably be above here somewhere, right? So if we, for example, decided to get a really large spike to the upside, we would probably end up getting a loss somewhere around there. Would you agree with me? Right? So if it broke to the upside, that's probably the best place to take a loss, right? Just above there. Because I'm in the mindset of a descending triangle, okay? Of a descending triangle, I'm probably going to take my loss right around there if it breaks above to the upside, okay? I'm not putting my loss there just to minimize the loss, because that's a bonus, right? A stop loss is already designed to minimize a loss. But you have to give the trade room to breathe, room to see it through. You have to put your stop loss at a place you know it won't go if you are right. Does that make sense? That's how I psychologically view stop losses. I like to put it at a place where I know it's wrong and I know it won't go. Where I know I put my stop loss at a place where it proves to me that my trade is wrong, which is also gonna say that I put it at a place where sorry, I lost my train of thought there. It's kind of late. I literally just lost my train of thought. Sorry about that. So this is the wonderful trade just to kind of narrate for you guys. There's a lot of coins right now on the hot list. Let's just take a look at some right now. Seller, Reef has really gone up, right? You can't just rely on here alone. I use something called Crypto Loom. Crypto Loom is phenomenal because it allows me to get an accurate picture of the entire market overview in one single page. So audio is obviously hot. Reef is very hot, obviously, right? So then we also ended up getting H bar, which doesn't really fit here too well. I don't think it's even close to on the list for volume. But the cool thing about H bar is that the volume, right, is slowly declining. It's minus 36%, which is lower than yesterday, which shows me that it's time to short it because it's decreasing. I like to look at the 24-hour volume to see what's high. Nothing high RSI. ICP is really low on our side, 24 hours, so that's really hot on my list to short it soon probably. Okay, so now, right, I got 1 is really high on our side in the 4-hour. R, H bar, so Crypto Loom is something I highly recommend that you guys pick up here. It's about $30 a month only, but it does really, really well. So I'm gonna start taking my trade here. I'm gonna start taking my profit right now. Okay, I'm gonna start taking my profit here. Then I'm gonna review why I decided to go into this trade. I decided to go with 534, 507 H bar right here. I'm gonna go in at around this price, and I'm gonna buy it right around now. And we're going to see what this ends up holding up. So let's see if I can actually close my position here. I don't think I will though, because it's a little bit too large for me to be holding up here. Definitely too large right now. It's getting a little spike up here. Let's see if I can actually close my position. Okay, so I closed it with around a $2,500 profit, I'm going to guess. So the big reason I took this trade, I'm going to review it very quickly for you guys here, is this, okay? I'm taking this trade because originally I get a 5 count. I get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? And then in the final wave here, I get a channel to make a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, okay? I took my profit originally here, my first trade earlier that I posted. I took it there because I expected a bounce on the 55 EMA on the 15-minute chart, okay? Right around here, and which actually bounced, and I took this big trend line that went across here as well. So that's a big trend line that went across there, and it actually bounced up there. So because it bounced up there and I took my profit at the 55 EMA, it ended up reaching this zone. I pre-drew that as soon as these two structures were drawn. I drew it like that. And what do you guys see? Okay, what do you see? Like this. You see a descending possible triangle right now, right? You see a descending possible triangle. So I took my short position right there at 32.7 as I saw rejection. My anticipation is for it to fall through this triangle a little bit and then just kind of hover upside right there. And right here, where this sloped white line and the big yellow line from all the way far back meets, that's going to be my entry for a short position where I believe it's going to fall down finally and break the green line. Bam, guys, I'm up quite a bit today. I'm up $7,200 today on my day off. It's a very nice trade. Bam, guys.